Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Adrian and Joanne Fenton, who like taking holidays in a motorhome. You notice that they're very happy now. They are delighted. In the words of Joanne Fenton, she is ecstatic. And that's because the government have stopped punching her. Aren't we all glad? I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. Okay, so that guy who said he had a standing bet with his family that I'm going to start the next sentence, so you've lost your bet, mate. Right. So this is what happened. Adrian and Joanne Fenton live in Heybridge and Essex. They were told they had to pay a fine for failing to check that no clandestine entrant was concealed in their vehicle. They had a motorhome, and like most people with motorhomes, they took with them some alternate transport so they could get to the local shops or sites to be seen. In this case, their alternate transport was a couple of bicycles, which were stowed on the roof of their motorhome by the sound of things. And they got back on the 15th of October, discovered a stowaway, reported him to the police, and then found that the police were being prosecuted for failing to check that no clandestine entrant was concealed in their vehicle. The Fentons, who had returned to the UK via Eurotunnel's Le Shuttle, discovered the stowaway at 10:15 p.m. on October the 15th. So they've been under this pressure since last October, when they unzipped the bike rack cover following their 6-hour journey. Mr. Fenton said he'd first noticed a pair of white trainers. I then looked up and saw a pair of legs and a face attached looking down. I don't suppose the face was actually attached to the legs, but since the person hidden in the bike rack had folded himself over, that would have been the optical illusion that he got. I immediately told him to stay there and shouted for Joanne to phone the police. How he got there, I don't know. You cannot see how he got under there. I couldn't work it out. He was contorted around the bikes, feet on the bottom of the rack and bent double over, so you could see nobody from over the cover. Despite reporting the incident to the authorities, the couple received an email on February the 23rd informing them of the fine. And what happened then was Mr. Fenton contested the penalty and he spoke to his Member of Parliament. The Member of Parliament raised a question in the House of Commons during question time, when it just so happened that dear Keir was there. He isn't usually there. He's off at Davos and far more important things, but he happened to be in the House of Parliament on that particular occasion, and he said he'd look into it. A little while later, Deus ex machina, the fine was, now, let's see what they said about the fine. Here we are. The couple have now received a second email from Border Farce, which is part of the Home Office, saying the fine had been reduced to 0. So it doesn't mean that they weren't fined. It just means that the fine they had to pay was 0. They've done that because they're keeping the legal definition that they actually broke a law. What happened, it's not here. What Mr. Fenton said was that they had gone through the usual inspections at the borders. And the various people who'd inspected them hadn't caught the kid either. So I'm calling this person the stowaway the kid because he says he's 16 years old. Anyway, they didn't catch him, and so the Fentons said, why should they have had any more supernatural powers of observation than the various checks that they went through? So, look, they found this person in their bike rack and they had to deal with the police then. And then in February, they got the shock of having this fine, which it's not just the fine, of course, it's the fact that you're being penalised for a crime. Now, what happened was they found a stowaway and they told the police. Now, I'm not telling anyone else to break the law, but I am pointing something out because the message that is being given, well, it's as follows. What you should have done, Mr. and Mrs. Fenton, was pretend you didn't see the white trainers. You unzip the cover of the bike rack, you see there's a stowaway there, you close the zip really quickly as if you've just decided not to do it there. You start unloading your stuff. You take it into the house and you close the door and then you wait. And when this stowaway has slithered out of your bike rack, you go back and finish your unpacking. Oh, goodness me, the bike rack zip's open. I don't remember leaving it open. Well, it's a good thing that no water leaked in there or no bikes fell out. That's the message you're being given. And so what's happening with this kid now? Well, he was arrested by Border Force or the police or whatever. And now he will be in a migrant hotel being fed 3 square meals a day and with a roof over his head. If you'd have let him escape, he'd have been out in the rain for hours before anyone found him, and you wouldn't have had any dealings with the police or border farce. So, what is the message being given here? Right, they did the moral thing. Because they didn't know who it was, that person could be extremely dangerous. He could have slipped out and gone and killed some little old lady who'd left her front door open so the carer could get in. You know, they did the right thing, the moral thing. But we have a government here that appears to be telling us all the time, don't do the moral thing. Just keep your head down and keep out of our way because we are not your friend. And now they have reduced the fine to 0. I don't know what this couple are ecstatic about because they didn't say no, that fine shouldn't have been given in the first place. They said, right, well, you did wrong, but we'll let you off the money. No, there's nothing for them to be ecstatic about at all. There's nothing for anyone to be ecstatic about because they are living proof that the government is no longer on our side. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.